All right, Primie, welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm Primie Cegnar. I'm the founder and CEO of Aeon Commerce, and we are actually launching something amazing this year. It's a dietary first food hub in Canada. It's for people that has dietary restrictions or medical health looking for a better way to nourish themselves. My background, I'm actually a first gen immigrant from the Philippines, a survivor in many ways, and a proud mother and wife. My startup was born out of deeply personal experience, navigating from my husband's heart disease to pancreatic cancer last year. So it has been a long journey. And in today's topic, I know we're going to heavily talk about health and in relation to us founders. So I hope I can give some light on those things with you and share um, something that you can walk away with and start today. And that's about me.
That's so awesome. Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing some of your challenges that brought you to where you are right now. And I think oftentimes as founders, we don't really think about our health.
Mm.
We're just focused on trying to bring this thing into the world. So I wanted to hear from you. How does poor health, whether it's eating poorly or not moving or not sleeping, how does it distort a founder's ability to lead or build trust or make the best decisions for the product that they're building?
I love that dive right into the topic. It's a it actually makes a lot of difference when it comes to our decision making. Health is very important because when we are out of sync with our body, with our emotions, our decisions actually trickle down to poor healthy choices. We go grab for the burger, and I'm not a preacher for something healthy, really, because I've also gone through that, long-winded road. But this would lead to choosing a whole other things, panicking. This panic mode resets when it's on our body. It doesn't make sense in how we actually make a rational decision, and then we turn into the survival mode. Thus the panic brain sets in, and it's hard to make strategies. Even dreaming, being in a creative place, it's so hard because when you're in the survival space, you can't really talk about dreaming or doing something you're really passionate about because you're focused on other things. um and it's just that leadership in your own self, even in your home life and with your partners as well. Instead of being in the creative space and leading the way, it becomes more reactive, and I feel like other people actually know this as well. So as founders, um, I would want encourage you to be more of making the right choices as soon as you're aware. Start making little shifts because it does affect our decisions, and it is not instant right away that we learn we didn't make the right decision for, especially for critical milestones that we're building at a very early stage. I'm an early stage founders, and um I've looked at my strategic milestones, and I've obviously made a whole lot of crazy decisions. And that comes also with, how we're choosing.
Wow, that is so insightful. I find that oftentimes with founders, like we get on meetings or get on calls, and it's all, "How are you doing?" "Oh, I'm exhausted." "Oh, it's so busy." "Oh, I only had 1 hour of sleep this whole week." Like it becomes like a badge of honor, and
Mhm.
like, oh, brain fog. "Oh, I'm on my third cup of coffee and it's just 7 a.m." or something like that. Um, how can we talk about this? That it's not really a
Mhm.
badge of honor, that
Mhm.
sleep is actually good, and that all of these things, whether it's the fatigue or the panic attacks and stuff like that. Like those are red flags, not like you're doing something great or you're doing the right thing.
Oh my God, you caught me red-handed. Because honestly, for the past, I think 2 years, that's 24 months, I've been constantly, on this thinking that I'm on a rush, or like there's a timeline I need to hit. If I don't hit that, then I'm like my worth is not there. Like who am I as a person? I thought I'm building something great. I need to get this out there. So we have a million things that we want to do in our timelines, and this actually trickles down to what we're doing on a daily basis. So we then resort to coffees or food, or anything else, like just sitting on our computer. I am so guilty of that. My husband have seen me, just like I could spend 12 hours, 8 to 12 hours just on my computer, just like, hitting those keyboards and making sure everything seems to be progressing along the way. Even at nighttime when I go to bed, I still thought about these things, wake up in the middle of the night, it's like, oh my God, I didn't do that. And then check my phone to do these things. What I find out about though is that I allowed it myself to normalize this grinding, this that lead me to exhaustion and fatigue. And then this cortisol spikes, this dopamine crashes, then we hijack our own system and allowed ourselves to grab a cup of coffee, which I actually like coffee. Now lately, I've been changing it to like the subtle. I have my tea right here. So I'm shifting a little bit. It's not that you do it overnight. It's not that I did. I'm just making little changes here and there. So every time I, grab my mug, I'd ask myself, would I rather do my coffee today or I'll do my tea? So there's that little shift. And then it's so hard because I thought I was like doing the best that I could, staying up late night because I need to, do this. I have certain milestones that I want to hit, and I'm like crazy panicking over things. Um, Especially that I don't say that I'm self-diagnosing like an ADHD or HDD person, but I actually identify sort of myself. Like I don't really panic when it's not there yet. So I have a little bit of that in my system. But I'm mostly in my creative mind, and like that's when that sits in. So I grab her a cup of coffee. It's not definitely not a badge of honor. Now I'm adjusting to how I work. I'm putting timelines. No, I mean my calendar. I just put in here. It's very handy. No, that's just not just this is one thing that I also found very helpful for me. Is that like a hard copy of your calendar, and I just put in I time blocked what I'm doing, and I do it reverse. I time block based on not what my to-do list, but on my done list, because I feel like I want it driven by my what really feels good or what comes natural for me today based on what had happened in the past few days, rather than like an optimistic timeline. So there's been a lot of uncovering all these things. But yeah, to come around with your badge of honor, truly, uh, don't go there. It just lead you to more exhaustions and panic, and gotta honor the boundaries. And I think that's
Mm.
the key.
That's so
Mm-hmm.
good. And I really like that you mentioned, yeah, you like coffee, and coffee is not like a bad thing. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
when
not.
when you get to that extreme of you're depending on it to be able to
Mm-hmm.
just keep going even when your body's exhausted. So thank you for sharing that. I want to talk a little bit about emotional eating or skipping meals or trying to pretend that you are intermittent fasting, but really you're just skipping meals because you have so much to do, or like we said, caffeine dependency. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what do those behaviors reveal about emotions and things that founders or we're all trying to avoid emotionally that maybe it'll be better for us to kind of deal with it?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. I just had a recording, if I may share, with a nutritionist. She specializes in emotional eating. We just had her recording released today. And in her practice with her clients, it's deeply emotional. It's actually related to how you're being raised. It's in your transformative years. It has, for the most part. So for me, when I realized that, but before I had talked to her, like, the few days ago, I've always been like, um intrigued by why am I eating this way? Because I've really gained a lot of weight after motherhood, of course. It was so hard to shed off the all this excess weight. And I'm just like shoving food because I want to feel good. And when I don't feel like I'm hitting all the milestones as on my list, to-do list, or on my big year Q4 goals, I resort to punishing myself actually to not eat. It's not just, you're doing intermittent fasting, which I tried because I was trying to lose some weight. Um, but it's very deeply uh in your emotional psyche. You gotta ask yourself, am I just doing this because, like you said, I'm trying to make deadlines, I'm just gonna putting things off. But it could be that we are punishing ourselves because that's just how I'm raised. And it was a lot of like going back to memory lane. It's like, I finally understood when finally shed some light on me that it's wasn't really about this emotional eating. Is really about how my relationship was molded over time, and it's just in your subconscious mind. But to really dig deep, if this is something to do with what were you raised or how you deal with food, especially if you want to reward yourself, we usually resort to like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a cake, I'm gonna celebrate my milestone today, I'm gonna grab champagne, or grab a beer, or have that full cake to myself. So there's this reward and punishment, and I think that's emotional eating. It's actually a very deep conversation. And then embracing our body with that emotions. I find that um we tend to absorb this energy in our body, and we resort to food that's being a big part of it. And it's not efficient to ignore that as well. It's solely a betrayal. I have betrayed myself for the past few years. And but being aware is the first step, and to do just little changes. You don't have to do it overnight. um and that's how you can make the first step.
Hmm. That's so
Hmm.
good. Someone once said that sometimes when we feel out of control, then we try to control the one thing that we think we can control. And that is
100%.
our body and our food.
Yes.
And so we're like, oh, like you said, punishing ourselves. Oh, well,
Hmm.
I couldn't um stop this investor from not investing in my company. So maybe I need to get skinnier, or I need to do this. So we're like, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't
Oh
control
my God.
outside,
Oh yes.
but I have to
I'm
control
100%
inside.
with you in that one. Yeah, totally.
Because and then we think maybe I'm not successful because I'm not strict on myself. So now I need to be strict on myself. But
Mm.
then when we make ourselves feel bad, then of course we reach for the thing that's supposed to make us feel good, which is more food, right? And the
Exactly.
cycle continues. You're like, we're punishing ourselves, we're making ourselves feel bad, and then we're reaching for things to make us feel good, and then we feel bad and we just continue. So I think what you mentioned was really, really important because sometimes it just goes back to our childhood
Hmm.
um and dealing with that and processing that. Okay, so one thing that I always like to talk about is burnout because burnout looks different for different people. And oftentimes, a highly functioning person might be going through burnout, but it doesn't look like it because
Yeah.
they're still functional, right? They're
Hmm.
still doing what they need to do. So what does it look like when someone is burnt out, but they're still high functioning?
Hmm.
And so if someone's watching this right now, and how can they know that, okay, I am in the burnout zone right now, and I
Mhm.
need to do some work to help myself get out of it.
For me, because I've experienced this for, building this business, what I've realized, two things that still stood out to me is that when you feel like you're cruising, like when you're driving along the highway and your car suddenly turns on cruising, and suddenly you're just being driven by this auto mode response, and you still, yeah, you're very functioning. Your body knows and your mind knows where to go, what to grab, like you just kind of feeling in the system. That's one thing, and the second one is that there's that missing thing that you're feeling. There's a disconnect, and you still don't know why you're still chasing, like trying to go after working at it day in day out, because we have these deadlines that we sort are our deadlines, but not really. Because when you're in terms of when you're thinking, if you're trying to do some fundraising, you look at benchmarks of what a pre-seed company should look like when you're fundraising. So with this, you're going to be turning on your high functioning self, eventually leading you to just cruising and just, showing up every day and be that. But you're not really there. Like I wasn't really there. It's hard. And my daughter is my checker actually. She was like, Mommy, we're playing, but you're not really here. Because I'm like on my phone, I was like, oh, yeah, let me just send this email just really quick. I need to reply to this, vendor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're never fully present. So it's set aside a time to check in and go away from the computer. Even my husband would say, you're at it for a long time now. Like I can see that. But if nothing is really working for you, especially if you want to be in that creative space and trying to solve some problems you want to solve, but then nothing is coming out of you. So he's like, take a day break. Like, are you seriously gonna take a day break? No, I'm still gonna be in my computer. Like, no, like still break this. I can still get out of my mold, but nothing, no, nothing that you can squeeze. But yeah, you just have to first, I just have to force myself to get out of it, and do go for a walk, which is very helpful. Just do a simple walk, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe just distract yourself. I know your ADHD self would be like, oh, that's one part I love to do, but there's a healthy way of finding balance that, but just go away and from your computer desk, and then try to find, like, even like a 5-15 minutes just sitting there, and a meditation break would be good too. But walking would be your best option, because don't bring your phone, just go for a walk. So you
Mm,
have to check in, the disconnects, and when you feel like you're cruising, yeah, definitely for me, that's like
mm.
a sign for you're a high functioning burnout person. But we
Oh.
have to remind ourselves, well, we are not weak when we choose this moment to step away and reconnect and rekindle where we actually here for, what we're building. And at the end of the day, we're just human. We're having this experience, and we should be able to appreciate that.
Mm. Oh my goodness. This is so good. Um, like you might feel like you are cruising, but you're not feeling creative.
Yeah.
You're not feeling excited anymore about what you're doing, but you're getting stuff done on the checklist and stuff. So, and something as simple as just going for a walk. That's so good. That's so good. I think one of the challenges for founders though is that we kind of value ourselves based on the work we get done, and we find value in whether our product or our business or our company is successful.
Hmm.
So how can we talk about the kind of food we eat and how we take care of our bodies as a way of kind of revaluing ourselves outside of this business, and creating boundaries that support us and just help us to kind of I guess, to reorient the ways that we're looking at ourselves. Because you just said we're human, we're not founders all the time, kind of thing.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That's one thing though. Like we identify how we identify food also comes with our background, our culture, how we're raised, as mentioned, but then also equating that to, I think, really on our health, not just don't when we start labeling food as our identity and as our self-worth is going to come there and how we look right now. Like I had that conversation with my husband about, I want to get fit because like you said, you want to go fundraising or you want to go out and meet people, you want to look good, you want to be on your best, of course, but um identifying ourselves in that process, like what I eat is what I am or what I'm gonna be. um I think, I know this is gonna spark a lot of controversy, but soon as we're identifying that, then what if I take away that food from you or from myself? What does that make of me? Like I know what we eat really nourishes us, but we've talked about emotional eating, and that's one too. So we have to understand how our relationship with our food and how and then once we started labeling that it's become part of who we are and what we supposed to be as a human being, then I think it's very disempowering, I would say. So as what my newfound dear nutritionist Maya would say, um to find the joy of eating again is, when you're hungry, that means you're hungry. Eat. You realize that we need protein in our bodies to do that. And then, you slowly go to what really works for you and don't just jump onto trends because it's hot trend right now, or they say it makes you um, make into more a sharper, better you. But a lot of people tried it and it seems doesn't work for them because we're different. We're wired differently. And then culturally we're different too. So I'm an immigrant, so I can't really usually eat what I used to eat or what makes me feel good. And I still crave them. Like rice is everything for me. And I always have this rice and potato battles with my husband. Um, but I feel like, you know, any form of trying to label and identify ourselves also comes a form of self-respect. So we have to be kind to ourselves. It's not really what you eat really matters, but at the end of the day, choosing well, like how we respect our body as well, is also important. So now I'm slowly putting that in motion. It's been a long time to get back to what I look like before, but even if no one's watching, I try to regulate or, watch over myself. But then I give myself some grace and it's like, it's okay. A slice of cake would be okay today. It's okay. You're fine. You're good. And, like having that self-talk is really important too. Um, and choosing over this products over time, you will get there. Like it's not like an instant noodle that it's just a grab and go situation. Um, yeah, that's for me. Like as soon as we step away from labeling ourselves from these things, then we will come to like a self-realization that that's not really me. That
Mm.
shouldn't identify me for who I am worth or what I'm supposed to be eating at this time.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's so good. And I want to talk a bit about relationships because you talked about your husband, you talk about your
Mm-hmm.
kids. How does this, like investing in your health, how does it affect them versus always being chronically dysregulated? You're stressed out, you're not eating well,
Yes.
you're not sleeping, all of that stuff. Like, how does it affect the relationships with our partners, our children,
Mm-hmm.
and even our co founders?
A lot. I would say so, a lot. Like I would say 100% because it really bleeds out on how you show up, not being fully present. Like you want to have an undivided attention, but then all these other things are in your head and you're trying to build and you're chasing this shining golden moment that you want to achieve. Um, this leads us to obviously losing our way, but we also have to look at why we're even here in the first place. What really got me into this, building this startup. And of course, my co-founder see it, my team see it, my daughter see it, and she would tell me like, mommy, you're always doing a lot of things for us. This just happened a few days ago. Um, I was getting her to bed, and share the story. I was getting her to bed, and we were like tickling and cuddling, and then I was just coughing, but she heard the gurgle of from the coughing. It's just like, oh, mommy, what happened? Like, let me get you some glass of water. Like, she got concerned. And then she said, you know what, mommy, you've always been taking care of a lot of us. Go to your computer, you work a lot, um, take care of daddy a lot, but you have to take care of yourself too. So even our kids would tell us, like, yeah, I know, honey. Thank you so much for reminding me. Um, and we are the ones that going to give it to ourselves, not my daughter. I still have, at the end of the day, it's still my decision to regulate myself. Um, our nervous system, it really comes uh, from how we are in our transformative years, if I have to say that again, and over time. And I find that regulating our nervous system, we become more mindful, more thoughtful, and we can actually make some radical changes without overthinking it. And we create the space for compassion, for creativity. And that's what I really love about, when we are able to cross that bridge and finding this regulation to regulations. And in terms of relationships, it's showing up 100%, not overthinking or like grabbing my phone. Because, like, I do that. We all do that. But so small changes could lead the way for us. So don't have your phones with you when you are having this one-on-one moment with kids. My kids would tell me, mommy, no devices, just to remind you. So I also tell my daughter, when we are together, you have to remind mommy that no devices when I'm with you, if I'm carrying that with me, and vice versa. And when my husband and I'm talking to him, like, also I have to put my stuff away or have like a solid 15 minutes conversation and not thinking about other things. So just being 100%. I know it's hard. It's a hard ask, but start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then time block yourself when you are in with your family. And that's really one thing that have helped me also regulated with relationship. Oh, one more thing though, I have to also mention is that our partners, our team also have families. They also have their own responsibilities outside of what we're building, outside of our work. And then we have to take that in consideration. And I'm so heavy in that one. So when my team comes to me or my co-founder or my partners would say, we have, some family things we need to deal with. Like I am 100% like, okay, I would actually say, take your time. You don't have to be like 100% here. If you can only do an hour, 2 hours here, better yet, if you need most of the days, fine with me. Just let us know what are your bottlenecks or what needs to be done. And then we'll together put up a plan or do something with it to accomplish these things. Because I know for myself that when your family asks you that, it's hard to, I just remember, what's really hard is that giving it to ourselves, because this relationships that is surrounded in what we're doing, it's easy to give it to others than to ourselves. Okay, cool.
Okay, awesome. That was really, really good. And just like giving grace to ourselves. So, what would you say to a founder that's kind of like, oh, I'll rest when I've gotten funding, or I'll rest when
Mhm.
I'm done with this business?
Yeah. Oh, oh my goodness. Um, hmm. It was a hard wake up call when my husband had a pancreatic cancer last year. Mhm. This was September when we found out. And if I go back to myself in that moment, he was actually trying to call me to tell me that the doctor has some news and I have to be in the room. But I'm building this startup and I need to close this, this account. And I was on the phone and he was trying to call. And I was like, and I was still talking to the founder about it. I didn't know that it was such a big deal moment. Like I haven't told this to anyone yet, but I'm here coming clean. Um, and so I was talking to this guy. I was like, yeah, we have Beta. We'd love for you to be our pet person. So I was chatting. Okay, tell me about your business blog. Because I was trying to get, one of my LOIs signed. Um, and then when that conversation ended, someone went to the doctor's room and then talked to my husband. So what happened? But they already got off to a conversation and he said, oh, he told me, I wish you were there. He said that I have pancreatic cancer. And I was like, guilty me. I should have been in that conversation, right? Because I was with him. I was just outside, but I took this call that I thought is really, really important. So sometimes mixing, like we think, like as women, we try to juggle so many things because we naturally just do. It's actually in our nature that we can actually do amazing things, multiple things at the same time. Yeah, I was doing what I think I was supposed to be doing, like, multiple tasker. But then cancer can't wait, your health can't wait. When it really calls you to consider these things. And I had to make a major pause last year. Um, I did try though. I was sneaky. I still try to put in at least 10% of my time, but it was more on building relationships. It was more on, talking to people or going to networks that would better me and would enhance my access to people that know can help me build the business. So that was like, one of those moments where I'm like, oh, it could have been better. I could have done the right thing. But then can't really punish yourself for that as well. I've come to terms with it. And it's like, you know what? I think whatever happened is supposed to happen because you have to learn from that experience. And, when you say, I'll fix my health later, it actually doesn't. It will catch up on you and it's in any way, shape, or form. And our body keep tabs. And whether we're paying attention or not, it will just knock the heck out of us. And yeah, when it's there, put a priority to it. Don't wait for that moment where it's very shocking to find that news. So yeah, I hope that would give us a wake up call, but don't wait for that kind of wake up call. Just start something small, really. Do small things. Like I have my own issues, health issues as well. Um, as women, as you know, we have a different way of looking at things. What one thing I would say is that women founders is built differently than female founders. We have menstrual cycle. And our body resets in 30 days and man resets in 24 hours. So you think about it, like how we make decisions as a woman founder. I think I'm actually speaking more like a woman founder here. Our emotions and how we've think about our health and make all decisions also comes with our own physiological and psychological, our body. We're built differently, we think differently, we're very creative, but then every week it's different versions of ourselves. This week I'm the bubbly person, next week's like I'm gonna kill you with this fork. Like just that, like embrace that part of us as women founders as well. And we have, I know it's a lot more asked to ourselves because we are women, But we have to put ourselves priority because we're always the caregiver. It's just natural for us. So we
Mm,
have to take care of ourselves too and find that
that's
time. So yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. I like to say it depends on what time of the month you meet me. Like you'll see a different
Yes.
version of me. And my decision will also be different depending on what time of the month you see. So like there might be a time of the month that I'm like, yes, I'll come and speak at your conference. And there might be a
Mhm.
time I'm like, no, I'm not speaking at your conference because I want to kill everybody right now. You know?
I would
So
have been
guys,
screaming and yelling like goodness for me, but oh man.
right. So I really love that you mentioned that. So I think there's just so much to think about. And I'm glad that we got to speak about this. For someone who's like, you know what, I haven't been prioritizing my health. What is one thing that you would recommend they start tracking today? So, like you said, start small. What is one thing they can start tracking to prioritize their health?
Oh goodness. Um, there's no such thing as fast track to health. So one thing that you can actually start doing today is just take a few minutes of walk. And that's been the one thing that I have been consistent that I didn't really thought about it until this year because I've actually lost a lot of those excess fats. And I wonder where it went. And it doesn't look like I'm building those six packs, abs, or whatever. But when I hop on my weighing scale, I was like, what happened here? Like, I can now fit into my size 6 clothes, which I have been wearing 8 sizes for some time. And I have to retrack what I have been doing. Is it my eating? Yeah, I've changed a few habits in my eating. I'm choosing, some salads, a little bit of protein. Like there's that diet shifts, yes. But what I was really consistent is walking. Like I dedicate at least 3 times a day minimum to do some walking. So it's a 15 minutes walk around the block. And this is the way that I hacked into this is in early morning when I drop my kid at the bus stop, I do a 15 minutes roundabout before I head home straight. And I was just doing that every day. And I didn't think about, oh, I'm going to do a 30 days thing. I was just like, I'm just going to show up today for myself and do this 15 minutes walk. And tomorrow, it's like, should I go straight home? I know I have deliverables to do. I know I have a meeting at 9. I had to prepare for it. But then it's like, you know what? I'll take 15 minutes and I'll do that. So just every day choosing that to do a 15 minutes walk, even 5 minutes. And then you will eventually warm up yourself to get there. So I did that for some time. It's been a year actually that I've fully committed to it. Um,
That's
and
so
then
awesome.
yeah.
Congratulations. I mean, because like when you say 5 minutes, we might be like, oh, that's not going to do anything. But I mean, once you start and you stay
Mhm.
consistent, and it can go up to 15 minutes, and then maybe once in a while you do 30 minutes, and next thing you know, you're seeing the results that you want. That's awesome.
Yeah, it may
Wow.
take time, but you're gonna look back to yourself. I'm glad I made that decision
Mm.
to just walk. And don't punish yourself even for like, oh my God, I feel so bad. I didn't do my walk this week. That's okay. Show up next week. Like just show up on a daily basis and how you can do it. I know things get in a way and we have to do some errands and whatever, but if you can take a 5 minutes walk out of that day, perfect. Like you've done your list for today. And that's what you really need. Importantly is ourselves. We need ourselves
That's
to
so
get
good.
connected all the time. And
That's
it may be hard to start, but just 5 minutes
mm.
would take it. Mhm.
That's awesome. That's so good. So, Primey, someone is watching this or listening to this, and they're just like, I want to connect with her. I want to learn more about the app, or just to talk with you because you're
Mhm.
hitting the nerve right now. What is the best way for them to connect with you?
Oh, yes. LinkedIn is the best way to connect with me. Um, Definitely that's where I'm also active. Not so much on Instagram, but I'm also there. Definitely, if you go to LinkedIn, you can find me there. And I think if there's any place you could also get me more active is on our Stella Eats official social media handles. I'm personally managing them myself, so you can also catch me there, of course. And yeah, I hope we can stay in touch, and hopefully it resonated with everyone that are listening to our uh is it should I say episode?
Our conversation.
Our conversation. I was thinking of
That's
the podcast the other day, but really thank you for sharing this space with me today. So
Thank
grateful
you,
to be able to share this
Primey.
moment.
I'm so glad. I am so glad that you're here speaking about this. It's so brave and it's so needed. And I appreciate your vulnerability. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And one thing to walk away, I think, of all of this is that you don't have to break yourself just to build something amazing. And who's going to build it if you're not there anymore? So we better start taking care of ourselves. It's time that we also pour the cup to ourselves as well.